Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Sunday. I hope you're all having a very good weekend wherever you're watching this around the world. I hope the World Cup is keeping you entertained. Certainly some very interesting games the last couple of days. Not so good result for England on Friday night. My God, that was bad, wasn't it? Awful performance from England, but still they didn't lose, which perhaps is the most important thing in the group stages. Bukayo Saka, after the highs of what happened against Iran, pretty much a big low at this one for Saka on Friday night. Really difficult game for him, not just for him, for everyone. Just no sort of attacking intent from England. They couldn't get things going, and Saka just rarely in the game. Couple of bright moments early on, getting in down that right-hand side where he thought he might have a little bit of joy, but as the game wore on, USA, I thought, were excellent. So if you're watching this from over in the States, you can be very proud of your team on Friday night. And I think when I sort of look at that US team, I was talking to my cousin actually, who is from America. He lives over there. I was talking to him this morning on Facebook, and I was saying in 4 years' time, I do think USA could be a pretty scary proposition on home territory in that in the next World Cup, given the sort of the age of their squad, their profile. The fact they're going to have home advantage as well. They could just find themselves a real top quality striker. I think America are going to be pretty decent. I thought they were very good against England and unlucky not to win that game. So yeah, frustrating one for Bukayo Saka. Still in a good place though for England, Ramsdale and Ben White as well. They're yet to see any action, and all sets up for a very big game against Wales in the final group game. Elsewhere, Saliba not involved yesterday for France. Again, frustrating for him. I mean, looking at it through purely Arsenal tinted glasses, you've got to think it's a good thing, really. If he's not playing too many minutes, he's not opened himself up to the possibility of getting injured. It means he's going to come back in pretty good shape, you would think. But yeah, I think also you want to see him get some minutes. He's going over for his first World Cup. I mean, I know he was excited because he spoke to him about it just before he went, just after he heard the news he'd been called up. So he would have loved to get some sort of game time, but he seems to be pretty far down the pecking order when it comes to the centre-backs for France. So good win for them. Kylian Mbappe doing what he does best. And so Saliba looking like he is cruising through to the knockout stages. I was on duty for Goal yesterday doing the Argentina game. I was doing player ratings and winners and losers from that game. It was such a weird one. It was dreadful for 65 minutes. I thought Argentina were awful, especially in the first half. Mexico were no better. Atmosphere was amazing, by far and away the best thing in the game. And then Messi, who I'd actually just finished writing him down as one of my losers from the game because he was just not involved really at all. His body language wasn't great, and then Angel Di Maria picks him out that first touch just to set himself absolutely brilliant, then drills it into the bottom corner, turns the game on its head, rescues Argentina at a time when their World Cup dreams were going to be hanging by a thread, and now they just got to win the next game and they go through as group winners. And great to see. I'm a massive Messi fan, huge Messi fan. In my view, he's the best player of all time. Obviously, I haven't seen it I wasn't here to witness Maradona at his best or Pele or anyone like that. But for me, Messi, what he's done, the longevity of it, for me, he's the best. I know a lot of you Ronaldo fans out there will disagree with me, and that's great because football's an opinion-based thing. But just Messi, watching him do what he does, it's just an absolute joy to watch. What a player. And yeah, his country needed him yesterday, and he stepped up at the crucial moment. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. And it was an amazing atmosphere, that one. From a game wise, it was pretty poor, and it's been pretty disappointing in a lot of the games so far in this World Cup when you compare it to Russia 4 years ago, which was brilliant. So many goals, the matches were fantastic. This one, it just hasn't really caught fire yet. I don't know why. I'm not sure if it's the atmosphere where it's just not. A lot of the games you're watching, it doesn't really feel too much like a World Cup match. It did yesterday, absolutely. That Argentina-Mexico game was fantastic. The atmosphere, brilliant. Argentina-Saudi Arabia, I thought, was like that as well. But yeah, it's been a weird. It's just not really got going for me yet, this World Cup. But hey, we've got some really big games coming up at the moment. Spain-Germany, not tonight. That should be an absolute belter. Tomiyasu not going to be involved with Japan today, which is a shame. He came on. He clearly wasn't fit at the start of their last game. Came on in that game against Germany, helped turn things round, was brilliant for the last half hour, but he aggravated a hamstring issue. And I saw when he fell to the floor at full time, it looked like he was kind of falling to the floor because of the win and the emotion and all that, but it did look to me a little bit like it was quite injury related as well. And now he's come out and said that he tweaked his hamstring straight away after coming on, and he's basically ruled himself out of this game against Costa Rica today for Japan. So Tomiyasu not going to be involved in this one. He does say, though, in the interview he gave that he doesn't think it's serious or anything like that, and that he should be back for the final group stage game, which is good because, I mean, purely for him and for Japan it's good, but for Arsenal as well, because you just don't want to see Tomiyasu picking up a hamstring, a really bad hamstring injury that's going to potentially rule him out for December as well. And we all know what, Tomiyasu's not exactly got the greatest of record when it comes to injury stuff, so hopefully, fingers crossed for him that he is all right. Partey and Granit Xhaka playing tomorrow. Some good games tomorrow actually as well, so keep an eye on the Arsenal's main two midfielders in action in Qatar tomorrow. So let me know what you guys think so far. How much are you enjoying the World Cup? What's been your standout game so far? Who are you supporting? Are you keeping in touch with all the Arsenal players? Or are you just following your countries at the moment? For me personally, I've just kind of, obviously I want England to win, no doubt about it, of course I do, but I just love getting up in the morning. You've got 4 games to watch. It's just absolutely brilliant. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully it just really sort of something ignites it now and it starts to really kick on, because it kind of feels like we're nearly there with the World Cup, but it's just not quite exploded into life yet. Hopefully it will in the coming days. Okay, Arsenal-wise, I mean, there's not too much going on. Obviously, they're still on holiday. A lot of the players are going to be coming back this week. Got under-21s game this week against Prague, I think, on Wednesday night to look at. But it's all just really quiet, and it's what it should be. It's what Mykhailo Arteta wanted. It's what the players wanted. They took advantage of this little break. The players have gone off who haven't been involved in the World Cup. They've had their little recharge. They're going to be coming back to Colney this week, and then there's going to be all eyes on heading off to Dubai, which I think will be... I don't know if they go this week, at the end of this week. It might be the end of this week they fly out. And then things are going to really step up as the preparations continue ahead of the return on Boxing Day. Like I said in my last video, the Juventus game has now been confirmed for the 17th. That follows on from the 2 games in Dubai, which are obviously AC Milan and Lyon. Training camp's going to be taking place. I think a lot of the young players are going to head over to kind of make up the numbers in Dubai. A lot of them will be in action on Wednesday night in the game against Prague. And then I think after that, whoever Mikel's going to decide to take will go over and base themselves in Dubai, which is a place Mykhailo Arteta likes. That's why he's picked there. Again, Arsenal know it very, very well, know the facilities very well. And Arteta will be looking to get things going for his team. There's lots of rumours and speculation swirling around, as you would expect, because there's no actual real news, proper news to report, sort of hard news to report at the moment, because everyone's away and there's just not too much going on in the world of Arsenal. So you're seeing all the transfer speculation really beginning to build up now ahead of January. It's kind of focusing on the same names. I've talked about Mudryk loads of times on these videos. He's been having his say, his agent's been having his say, lots of people have been having their say. I've been getting loads of questions on my social media for the last day or so, or whenever the story went. There's a story doing around that Arsenal kind of agreed, have sort of moved to the front with Mudryk in the transfer race, and I saw something like 40 million banded around, and that Shakhtar have decided to sort of half their asking price for him, and Arsenal are going to sign him for 40 million. I mean, I can't say. I mean, I haven't heard that. I can't say myself it's right, but I wouldn't get too excited. So at the moment, there's just lots of speculation doing around. Like I said, we're still a month away from January. There's no real games to report on or stuff to go, so you're just going to see a lot of speculation at the moment, especially on the internet. So I just tread carefully in terms of what you believe. Like I said, if I hear anything that I think is right, then I will obviously report it on Goal and talk about it on these videos. But a lot of the speculation that you're seeing at the moment, I would just sort of handle it carefully and kind of look at it as you think it probably is, and that is just speculation at the moment. So I've certainly not heard that Arsenal are going to sign Mudryk for 40 million in January, and that Shakhtar have decided, having spent the last 6 weeks talking about how he's going to be a €100 million player, to then suddenly accept half of that and to let Arsenal sign him. So I'd just be a little bit careful when it comes to those rumours. Another player who's been heavily linked with Arsenal, and there's definitely substance in this one, is Danilo, obviously the Palmeiras midfielder, the young Brazilian, who Arsenal have been sniffing around for a long, long time. It's no secret. Everyone knows that. They were looking at him very strongly in the summer. It didn't happen because Palmeiras just didn't want to do a deal in the summer because they had a lot still to play for in their season, and Danilo was a absolutely vital part of that and say they weren't going to entertain any bids in the summer. I believe Arsenal did actually make a bid for him towards the end of the summer transfer window, and were told in no uncertain terms, look, it's not happening now. Now, that may well change in January, because Palmeiras are in a position now where they can start looking at accepting offers potentially, and Arsenal have been doing a lot of groundwork when it comes to him. They've been talking to the club, been talking to the representatives for a long time. Everyone kind of knows where everyone stands in that situation, but it's just a case about firming up that interest. As far as I'm aware, there hasn't been a bid made yet from Arsenal, from Danilo, but I expect there's going to be lots of talk about that as we head towards January, and it wouldn't surprise me if Arsenal do firm up that interest, make a bid and try and get this one done in January. I'm not saying it will happen, I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me. Having spoken to people kind of close to that deal, there is a belief that Arsenal will try again in January, but at the moment no bid has gone in for Danilo as far as I'm aware, and so we'll have to wait and see what happens with him. You kind of look at him and think he's 21, I think he's 21. I'm always a bit sceptical when it comes to bringing in players from, especially young players from Brazil, because there's just normally, and there are some exceptions to the rule, Gabriel Martinelli was one, there's usually quite a big acclimatization process for these players coming from Brazil. They don't tend to hit the ground running and be a game changer straight away. And when you look at Danilo, you look at his age, is he going to come in and make a difference? If he does sign in January, would he come in and make a massive difference in terms of this season, in terms of pushing Arsenal on towards the Premier League title? I'm not so sure, but that's not to say that it shouldn't be done. If you want to sign this player, you believe in him, then get it done as early as possible. Make sure no one else signs him. And there are other clubs interested in Danilo, who's sniffing around in the background. So it'll be an interesting one. I mean, I can't pretend to say that I'm an expert on him by any means exactly, in terms of exactly what he will bring to this team. There's far more well-researched Brazilian journalists and people who watch an awful lot more Brazilian football than I do, who'd be able to tell you that. And if you go and have a look on the internet, you'll find all the stuff you need to read about him. But I'm not sure. If Arsenal did sign him in January, then it'd be interesting. Would he come in and really be one of those people who makes a difference and push them on towards the title, or would he be signed along with someone else in a similar position who could come in and make a big impact and be someone who could fill into Thomas Partey's shoes, or Granit Xhaka's shoes, or someone like that to make a big difference? We'll have to wait and see on that. But certainly Danilo is one to keep an eye on. I think ahead of January, it's one that's been bubbling away under the surface for a long time now, and we'll see if it comes to a resolution in the January window. But let me know what you guys think about any of the stuff I talked about in this video, from the World Cup to Mudryk to Danilo. Would he be a good sign-in? Do you know him far better than I do? If so, then please do let me know in the comments below exactly what you think he will bring to this team or to the squad if he did sign in January. Alright, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Please do enjoy the rest of your Sunday wherever you're watching this around the world. Sit back, get a beer out, and enjoy 4 more World Cup games to get you through. Have a good day. Speak to you soon.